Getting back to the game, obviously we knew the stakes, teams on top like that, and maybe even statistically it wasn't dominant by Bam or by Jimmy, but it seems like you guys defensively came out like a bunch of rabid dogs. I mean, what was it like to watch that at the start and really throughout defensively with that intensity?
Yeah, it's more just about competition. It's not necessarily what everybody thinks. Of two teams in the standings and everything. It's a respect, for the Bulls and what they've been able to do, and they're a great, not just a good, but they're a great offensive team. So that'll catch your attention pretty quickly when you're going through the prep and everything, because they're also a team that our guys have seen and watched, and seen what DeRozan's been doing, and Levine and the rest of the crew. Yeah, but the core of Jimmy and Bam and PJ, just gives you a lot of dynamic, multifaceted, positionless defenders that can cover a lot of ground and also have the experience and the savviness to be able to, defend, highly skilled offensive players. So that what they're able to do, is not easy. But they make us really unique and dynamic defensively.
Eric, you've talked a lot about Gabe's development, but just the poise that he's continued to show,
Yeah.
and sort of the understanding of when to attack and when not to attack. If you
Yeah.
just, not just to training camp, but just to the start of
Yeah.
this season,
He-
how much growth has there been?
It's been exponential. He really works at it, and he's humble. He's a tireless worker, but he studies and works with the coaching staff and EG, constantly on his reads of the game, understanding context, time, score, flow, who he's on the court with, whether he's starting, which is different than when he's coming off the bench. We've thrown a lot at him, but he's been open to that. And in the moments of truth and when there's pressure, he's really been steady where he doesn't just jump to his instincts, always, where, he's been a scoring two guard probably his entire life. And that's really a credit to him, and understanding that, to impact a team that is a winning team, you kind of have to morph into a lot of different kind of roles. But you have to be open to it, and he is. And with Kyle out, it changes up the menu a little bit. He can be a little bit more offensive minded, but still, to your point, like during the flow of the game, sometimes it just calls for him to get the ball to Jimmy, or get the ball to Bam, or to Tyler with the second unit. And he's really made strides in that regard of calling a game. And he's had a great, guy to study under in Kyle.
Understanding that there's a respect level for his talent, but Vucevic has been a problem here for years, and he's on the best team probably he's ever been on. So what is it about this group of personnel that seems to, at the very least, be able to kind of keep him off rhythm?
Wait, what do you mean?
What is it about the defenders you have now that maybe you didn't?
Oh,
pass?
yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe just luck or chance. Covering ground, but it's like the perfect personnel for that group. I think having a shooting skilled big next to DeRozan and Levine, it's a perfect match, and that's why they're really challenging to prepare for. And DeRozan, is really at the peak of what he does right now. He's literally seen every single coverage, for years. He's so poised, he's so skilled, and his shot making ability is as good as anybody, that's played this game. He just puts a great deal of pressure on you, and even when you defend it well, he's just like, lacing you up. And the same thing goes with Levine. They just can create something out of nothing. And Vucevic, might not be scoring, the way he did, some of those Orlando teams, but he's on a great team and he's filling a very important role. And it matters. That the reason those guys are able to do what they do is a lot of it is because of, Vucevic and the space and the skill that he provides, for those guys.
Another one on Gabe. He's played a lot of minutes with Kyle this season. How do you feel like those minutes playing alongside him maybe have helped?
Who?
Gabe.
Oh yeah, for sure.
How do you think those minutes have helped him?
I think
situations where
everything's helped Gabe. I think it's his openness, to learning it and seeing the game and executing the game, in a way that's not necessarily to his instincts. EG and him have just a great relationship. There's trust level, with those two. And then he just sees it every game, with Kyle. And they're very close. And Kyle is always coaching him and getting him to see the game in more dimensions. It's a great, tutorial and mentorship, those two have. And we knew that we'd probably need a little bit more offensive punch, with Kyle out, and Gabe was able to shift and play that role tonight.
It's another one of those matchups where Jimmy's used a lot as a roamer. I think he had like 4 steals in the first 8 minutes. I'm just wondering, what is the process of letting him off the leash? And is it just dialing him back? Maybe if it gets to a
No,
certain
I
point?
don't dial him back. We have our team rules, and then there's the Jimmy Butler rules. He can do whatever he wants because he can do some things that I've never seen before, particularly when he's on the weak side. The only guy I can compare it to is really when Dwayne, in his prime, would just be an incredible instinctual playmaker off the ball, and Jimmy can be that guy. And there's been oftentimes where he'll do something and somebody else tries that, and they're like, no, you cannot attempt that. That's not a smart play. And they'll look at me and say, well, Jimmy did that. And like, yeah, because he can make those plays, and he's earned that trust, with the head coach and the team. And I love it when he's, instinctual and active on the weak side and unpredictable, because he also, he's a winning player, so he doesn't take it too far where he's irresponsible about it. All right. Come on, Bam. Who is that?
Is this as good as Bam has been defensively? Describe his level right now.
I don't know. I think every year in the last, whatever years, I think he's deserved to be in the conversation for Defensive Player of the Year. He just makes you so dynamic defensively. There's not many guys that in the league that can do what he does. Draymond Green, and the list probably stops there. He's really important, to what we do, and that's why our defense has really jumped up. And we were good, in those 6 weeks without him, but it's gone to a different level with him.
All right, Coach. Thank you.